Before your birth, as you were making the decision to focus yourself into this leading-edge time-space reality, it was your powerful intention to enjoy every moment of the process. You understood that you are a creator and that the Earth experience would be the perfect platform from which you would launch numerous satisfying creations. And here you are. Before your birth into your physical body, you knew that once you were here, you would be surrounded by others, and that your relationships with those others would be the primary source of the contrast you would live. You understood also that these contrasting relationships would provide the very basis of your personal expansion, as well as the very basis of your enormous contribution to eternal expansion, and you eagerly welcomed your interaction with all of them. And here you are. There was nothing in your plan about being here that included struggle or hardship. You did not believe that you were coming into physical form to right past wrongs or to fix a broken world, or even to evolve, in the sense that you were currently lacking in something. Instead, you knew this physical experience would be an environment that would provide a balance of contrast, from which you would personally make increasingly improved choices that would add to your own expansion as well as to the collective expansion of all that is. You knew that this world of contrast would induce in you the expansion that literally puts the eternalness into eternity, and your appreciation for the contrasting environment on planet Earth was enormous. For you understood that contrast is the basis of expansion and that the expansion would be joyous, and here you are. Before your birth, you understood contrast to be the variety from which you would make your choices. You knew that your surrounding environment would be like a dining buffet spread out before you, from which you would choose, and that nothing about that environment was permanent, because your constant new choices would cause it to continually change. And here you are. Before your birth, you understood that all choices are made by giving attention to something. You knew that you were about to focus your consciousness into a physical body and into a physical time-space reality, and that you would make your selections from the contrasting buffet of choices that would surround you by your attention, focus, or thought. And here you are. Before your birth, you understood that the Earth environment, like all environments, physical and non-physical, is a vibrationally based environment which is managed by the law of attraction. That which is like unto itself is drawn. And you knew that your attention to any subject was your invitation for your personal participation with it. And here you are. Before your birth, in considering your physical experience on planet Earth, you did not request to be born into an environment of sameness or agreement, where all of the variety had already been considered and all of the decisions about how life should be lived had been made. For you were a powerful creator who was coming forth for the purpose of making your own decisions and of creating your own joyful experience. You knew that diversity would be your best friend and that conformity on every level would be the opposite. You literally dived in eagerness to find your bearings and to then begin to explore from your own personal, important, and powerful viewpoint your contrasting surroundings from which you would carve out your creations. And here you are. A life without relationships with anybody or anything is impossible for a human being. For everything you receive, know, or pay attention to stems from your interactions with others. You would be unable to feel or focus on your inner world if you had nothing to compare it to. In simple terms, without relationships, we could not exist at all. Watch this video to the end, and you will learn how to balance your relationships with others. People who are having relationship problems with their husband, wife, boyfriend, and girlfriend contact me on a daily basis. I've been thinking about how I can help them for a long time, and I have created an incredible masterclass that will give you the secrets of bringing even the most challenging relationships into harmony. Because I know that the majority of my viewers are women, I created this masterclass just for you. There you will learn how to start a relationship with the man you love and how to start enjoying your personal life. Registration is now open via the link in the top right corner and in the video description. Go ahead and sign up. This online masterclass is absolutely free. Before you focused a part of your consciousness into the physical body that you now recognize as you were an intelligent, clear, happy, non-resistant consciousness, eager for this new experience into which you were emerging. Before your birth, the only relationship you experienced was your relationship with your source. But since you were at that time non-physical and therefore non-resistant, you experienced no discernible separation and therefore no discernible relationship between you and source. You were source. In other words, while you have fingers and toes and arms and legs, you do not see them as separate beings. You see them as a part of you. So you usually do not try to describe your relationship with your leg because you understand that your leg is you. And so before your physical birth, you were vibrationally intertwined with Source, or with what humans often call God. But the full integration of you with God was such that there was no relationship between the two, because you were all one. Before you came into this body, you were non-physical energy. And from that non-physical perspective of Source, you extended or focused a part of your consciousness forward into your physical time, physical earth, and physical body. And when you were born into this body, achieving awareness through your physical senses of your new surroundings, the consciousness known as you became two specific aspects, the non-physical part of you and the physical part of you. Some refer to their non-physical aspect as their soul or source, and while we prefer labels like inner being, broader non-physical perspective, or who you really are, there is an even more important distinction. Both the non-physical and physical aspects of you exist at the same time. Most people acknowledge that some aspect of them existed prior to their physical birth, and most believe that after their physical death, they will again be non-physical, but something quite different from that is occurring. You are extensions of Source energy, and when you became physically focused, your non-physical aspect did not cease to be. In fact, your non-physical aspect began to expand because of the existence and experience of your physical aspect. It was your clear intention to come forth into your magnificent physical body and to interact with a variety of intentions and beliefs and desires of others upon your planet for the purpose of expansion. You understood that by your exposure to the variety that surrounds you on all subjects, you would naturally come to specific conclusions of improvement. You knew that by living an unpleasant experience, a request for an improved experience would be born. You knew that a request or asking or desire would emanate from you vibrationally, and that your inner being would be aware of your new request and would follow it and focus upon it and become it. You knew that your inner being would immediately become the vibrational equivalent of every request that your physical environment inspired. And so, if you can now turn your attention to the idea of your expanded inner being, who stands as the culmination of all that you have lived, who emits a vibration that expresses the whole of that which you have become, then you will more fully understand who your inner being is and how the physical aspect of you has added to that expansion. We want you to realize that while you are focused on your physical body, thinking thoughts, speaking words, involved in action, at the same time, there is a non-physical aspect of you who exists in the non-physical realm from which you have come, and the non-physical aspect of you has expanded because of your physical experiences. Many people refer to their physical life experience as reality. You decipher your physical reality through your physical senses, and as you look around your planet at the places and people and experiences, you pronounce it reality. We want you to understand that even though you are seeing and hearing, and tasting and smelling and touching the evidence of your physical reality, it is much more than the flesh, blood, and bone reality that you believe it is. Everything that you perceive here in your physical environment is vibration, and the life you are living is your vibrational interpretation. The powerful law of attraction is at the root of everything that you experience. And the stable, never-changing, always accurate premise of this law is that which is like unto itself is drawn. When you give thought to something, you begin to attract this into your life. Once you have activated a thought vibration within yourself by giving your attention to the subject, the progression of expansion occurs. In other words, the more attention you give to any subject, the more active the vibration of that subject is within you. And the longer that occurs, the more powerful the attraction is, until eventually you will have irrefutable evidence in your own experience of that active vibration. All things that happen in your experience come because of the requests that you are sending out with your thoughts. The law of attraction is the universal manager of all vibration, which expands to everything that exists through the universe. And so at the same time that the law of attraction is responding to the vibrational content of your physical thoughts, it is also responding to the vibrational content of your inner being. We want to draw your attention toward that powerful non-physical aspect of you and the effect that the law of attraction has upon it. Each time your physical life experience causes you to ask for something, a vibrational rocket line request shoots forward and is received by your inner being and becomes the vibrational, expanded version of your request. In order to help you get a sense of that process of expansion, we've called it your vibrational escrow or your vibrational reality. It is the furthermost expanded version of you. In the same way that the law of attraction is responding to the thoughts, words, and actions that you're offering here in your physical reality, the law of attraction is always responding to your vibrational reality. When the law of attraction responds to the clarity of vibration offered by your newly expanded inner being, the result is a powerful swirling vortex of attraction. So here is this vortex of becoming, a vortex that contains all of the requests, each detail of every asking, and the law of attraction is responding to that. Envision this swirling vortex and the power of attraction that is amassed as the law of attraction responds to this pure, non-resisted, focused desire. The vortex is drawing in all things necessary for the completion of every request it contains. All cooperative components are being summoned and are coming for the completion of these creations, for the answering of these questions, for the solutions to these problems. Everyone who turns up in your life, from the people you call friends or lovers to the people you call enemies or strangers, comes in response to your vibrational asking. You not only invite the person, but you also invite the personality traits of the person. Many people have a difficult time accepting this, as they think of many of the unwanted characteristics of people in their lives. They argue that they would never have asked for something so unwanted, for they believe that asking for something means asking for something wanted. But by asking, we mean offering a matching vibration. We know that many of the relationships or experiences you have attracted, you would not have deliberately attracted if you had been doing it on purpose. But much of your attraction is not done by deliberate intent, but rather by default. It is important to understand that you get what you think about, whether you want it or not. And chronic thoughts about unwanted things invite or ask for matching experiences. The law of attraction makes it so. Relationships or co-creating with others is responsible for nearly all of the contrast in your life. They are responsible for the troubles of your life and your greatest pleasures. But most important of all, the relationships that you experience with one another are the basis of the majority of the expansion that you achieve. And because of that, it is accurate to also say that the relationships of your life are the reason for the potential for your joy or your pain. If someone had not prodded you into more expansion, you could not feel the pain of not keeping up with that expansion. The interaction, intertwining, and co-creation of relationships enhances your individual experience enormously. Your greatest joys and your greatest sorrows come from the basis of your relationships, but you have more control over whether you experience joy or sorrow than you realize. The culmination of relationships and circumstances and events that you draw to you is utterly accurate in its response to your vibrational requests. Noticing how things are turning out for you is one very clear way of understanding which vibrational requests you are emanating, because you always get the essence of what you're thinking about, whether you want it or not. We call that the post-manifestational awareness, vibrating with no deliberate direction or thought, but then noticing the results of the thoughts only after they have manifested in into something real or tangible, such as low balance in your bank account, an unwanted physical condition, or an unpleasant relationship. It is possible to become aware of the attracting of an unwanted situation and to head it off before it comes into full realization in your experience by becoming aware of and utilizing the wonderful emotional guidance system that you were actually born with. But most people indiscriminately give attention to whatever is in their view, and then accept the inevitability of their responses to those thoughts. They accept that there are bad things out there in the world, and when they focus upon those bad things, they expect to feel bad, and they do. Rarely do they understand the important reason for their bad feeling, but we will state it simply for you here. When you focus upon a subject or situation and you feel bad, it is not the subject or the situation that is the reason for your bad feeling. You feel bad because the thoughts have caused a vibrational separation in you. In other words, you have chosen to give your attention to something that the source within you is not giving attention to. And it is with good reason that the source within you is not giving attention to the thing that makes you feel bad when you do. Source understands the power of attraction and does not want to add to the creation of unwanted things. And when you do, you feel bad every time. And conversely, when you think thoughts during which you feel passionate or happy or loving or eager, you are choosing thoughts in which the larger part of you is also completely immersed, but instead of causing a separation between you and your source, you're creating a relationship with clarity and well-being. There is no understanding of greater value than understanding of your personal emotional guidance system. When you're aware of the existence of your two significant vibrational perspectives and how they relate to one another, you consciously hold the key to your joyful, deliberate creation. And without that understanding, you're a bit like a small cork bobbing atop a raging sea, blown by current and the wind out of your personal control. You could say that in any moment, you really only have access to two emotions, one that feels better and one that feels worse. If you will make a determination that from wherever you stand and no matter what you are focusing upon, you will reach for the best feeling thoughts you can find from where you are, then you will develop an ongoing relationship with your inner being, with Source, and with all that you desire, and your life will become consistently joyous. That was your plan, to sift through variety, come to personal clarity about what you prefer on topic after topic, and then come to alignment with your eternally evolving self.